What's going on, guys? It's Big Rye coming at you with the NBA betting market for December 27th. We're going to start off with the Mavs Clippers game. There's been 794 bets as of now. The line open as the Clippers -4.5. They've been bet up to -5. They've received 64% of bets, but that line has moved up half a point despite them only receiving 36% of the money, which is interesting to note for the Clippers with the line movement, even though the money is on the Mavericks. Then we have the money line. Clippers open -204. They've been bet up to -216, and they have received 82% of the bets. And then the OU has stayed at 229 from the opening OU line, and 52% of bets are on the under. Let's move on to the 7 p.m. Eastern time game. Or games. There's 3 of them. We're going to start off with the Nets Hornets. There's 870 bets so far. The Nets opened as 10-point favorites. They've been bet up to 10.5. They've received 91% of the early bets and 98% of the money. So definitely the public and the sharps all over the Nets in this game. But the line has only pushed up half a point from 10 to 10.5, which is interesting to note. 94% of bettors are on the Nets money line. It opened at -470. It's been bet up to -558. And then the OU for that game, it opened at 228. It's been bet up to 230, and 56% of bettors have helped it push up from 228 to 230. And then next up, as well, another 7 p.m. Eastern time game. There's been 1,097 bets on the Spurs Pelicans. Pelicans opened as 5-point favorites. They've been bet up to 5.5-point favorites with 50% of the bets, but 97% of the money. So it looks like there is sharps or some whale on the Pelicans in this game. The line has only pushed up half a point, however. The money line -195 up to -210 for the Pelicans, but 94% of bettors are on the Spurs money line, which is interesting to note considering it's been between 174 and 186, depending on when you manage to get some money down on that. And then the OU has stayed at 228. 86% of bettors are on the over. However, 75% of the dollars wagered are on the under. So that's another interesting little market to watch for. The next up, Magic Wizards. Magic open at 1.5-point favorites. They're currently 1.5-point favorites on the road. However, there is heavy juice on the Wizards, plus 1.5 at -112. 52% of bettors are on the Wizards, and 26% of the dollars wagered are on the Wizards. So a little bit of a reverse line movement there with 74% of the money on the Magic, but the line for the Wizards, at least the juice, has moved from -105 down to -112. Then for the money line, Magic open -117 there, currently -109. 81% of bettors are on the Magic money line. The OU opened at 228. It's been bet up to 231, despite 81% of the money is on the under. However, 84% of the early bettors are on the over. So another interesting market to keep your eye on as these games approach in a few hours. 794 bets on the Sixers-Cavs game. Sixers open as 6-point favorites. They've been bet up to 7-point favorites. 83% of bettors are on the Sixers. 98% of the money are on the Sixers on the road. Their Sixers money line has pushed up from 224 to -278. -224 to -278, despite 81% of bettors being on the Cavs. And the OU open at 219. It's been bet down to 216. 57% of bettors are on the over, and 96% of the money is on the under. On to the next 7:30 Eastern time game. 680 bets on the Bucks-Knicks. Bucks open as 11-point favorites. They've been bet up to 12.5-point favorites. They've received 88% of bets, 97% of the dollars wagers. So similar to the Nets-Hornets game, everybody and their uncle is on the Bucks. That goes with the money line as well, -753 up to -935. 56% of bettors are on the Bucks. However, 98% of the money wagered is on the Bucks to win that game outright. The over-under opened at 223. It's been bet down to 222. However, 78% of bettors are on the over. So a little bit of a reverse line movement on that OU, going from 223 to 222, despite 78% of bettors betting the over. Next up, 756 bets for Celtics Pacers. Celtics open as 1.5 point favorites. They've been bet up to 2.5 point favorites, despite 51% of bettors being on the Celtics, and only 3% of the money is on the Celtics. So another interesting line movement there as far as all the money being put on the Pacers. However, the line is moving in favor of the Celtics. Then for money line, Celtics minus 129 up to minus 137. Celtics and the Pacers both 50-50 as far as bet percentage, but the Celtics money is at 67%. The OU for that game opened at 222. It's been bet down to 221. 67% of bettors are on the under, and 99% of the money is on the under. On to the 8 p.m. Eastern Time game, Warriors-Bulls. Warriors open as 1.5 point favorites. They've been bet up to 3.5 point favorites. 80% of bettors are on the Warriors. 61% of the money is on the Warriors. The Warriors money line open at minus 122. It's been bet up to minus 165 with the help of 65% of public bettors, as well as 97% of the dollars wagered. The OU for that game opened at 228. It stayed at 228 despite 68% of bettors being on the over. On to the second last game of today, Suns Kings, 567 bets so far. Suns opened as 3.5 point favorites. They've been bet down to 3 point favorites despite receiving 74% of the bets and 44% of the money. And then the Suns Kings money line from open till now, it hasn't changed much. 36% of bettors are on the Suns at minus 149. The OU has stayed at 227, and there is 56% of the bettors on the under in the Suns Kings game. And on to the final game of the night, 491 bets on the T-Wolves taking on the Lakers. Lakers open as 10.5 point favorites. They've been bet up to 11.5 point favorites, despite 61% of bettors being on the Timberwolves and 89% of the money. So we have a reverse line movement for the Lakers from 10.5 to 11.5, despite them only receiving 11% of the money. And the money line for that game, Lakers open at minus 600. They've been bet up to minus 667 with 79% of bettors on the Lakers. The OU opened at 224. It's been bet up to 228, and 75% of bettors are on the over in the OU in the Timberwolves Lakers games. Well, that concludes December 27th, guys. Hopefully this information helps you out. Good luck in your wagers on December 27th in the NBA.